That was a joint press conference for Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. The two foreign ministers hold a joint press conference where Foreign Minister Abdulati said that he discussed with the Russian side enhancing bilateral relations on different fields. Also, he said that they discussed the Egyptian, Qatari and U.S. mediation efforts to reach a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, and he said that Israel uses a starvation weapon against the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. And Foreign Minister Abdulati said that Egypt is appreciating the Russian stance supporting the Palestinian cause. And to shed more light now on the issue, we are joined by Ambassador Medhat Miligy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Ambassador Miligy, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Sir, Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati is on a visit to Moscow, and he just held a joint press conference with his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov. From your point of view, what were the most important topics that were tackled during the joint press conference regarding the issues that were tackled?
Well, I think the most important thing that we discussed, actually, besides, of course, the bilateral relations between the two countries, that are up to decades of good relations between Egypt and Russia, is actually what we mentioned about the Palestinian issue, which shows to which extent, although that we have very good intentions for most of the world leaders and the most important countries, but because of the unconditional support of the United States to Israel, we cannot really impose anything, even to execute any of the resolutions that came out of the Security Council or the ICJ. All these resolutions actually went into vain because they cannot implement any of them, since Israel is enjoying a full support from the United States, and this is actually the main problem that prevents reaching any ceasefire or any swap of prisoners, or even is preventing the Israelis from having their hostages back. And all this is because of the extreme right government of Israel that is in power right now and will continue to be in power as long as there is war, and that's why we keep escalating the situation. So I think the most important topic that we'll discuss, actually, if we see through the press conference that were given by the two foreign ministers, we find that this was the most important topic that were discussed during the negotiations between the two countries.
Yes. How do you see the common views here between both Egypt and Russia concerning many regional issues that were discussed, as we have you, sir, have kindly mentioned the Gaza situation, indeed, as well as the developments in Libya, Sudan, and Syria, as they were mentioned by Foreign Minister Abdulati?
Well, actually, I think the most important thing is that both of them have the same point of view regarding almost all the issues. Of course, we have one pending issue that both of them did not want to discuss in public, which is the current Ukrainian war, the Russian war on Ukraine.
Yeah,
and although we have our point of view that align actually with the same point of view that we have regarding the Palestinian issue, but we did not want to discuss this because it wasn't the main topic of the discussion. But besides that, all the other problems that were discussed, according to our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Badr Abdulati, that there is identical point of view regarding whether we're talking about Sudan or Libya or, and most importantly for us, the Horn of Africa. I think that this was quite important because, as you know, Egypt is sustaining and trying to help Somalia to regain its unity. As we know, there is a separatist group that is trying to power itself by having an ally with Ethiopia in order to be able to beat the central government and the recognized government of Somalia. And I think that Mr. Lavrov was clear about that they do not support any unilateral steps in this regard, and that they also care, just like us, about the unity of Somalia, which show another identical point of view regarding this precise issue, which is a very important one for us as well.
Indeed. Also, sir, as Foreign Minister Abdelati said that they discussed also a very important topic, which is the issue of the Red Sea navigation security, which Egypt is rather suffering a lot due to the security of the Red Sea and its repercussions on the Egyptian economy as well. So what's your take on that, Ambassador?
Well, I think Dr. Badr Abdelati was quite obvious on this point when he mentioned that the whole stability of the region will benefit all the countries in the area. Although we totally disagree about attacking any ships heading towards the Suez Canal,
of course,
because actually it's affecting our revenues and affecting our impartiality regarding the Suez Canal and so forth. But at the same time, we do understand the reason behind the Houthis committing those acts of actually those crimes. We cannot call it anything else, because that I mean, any obstruction of the navigation of the Suez Canal is considered a crime. However, we do understand why they are doing this, because Israel should not, according to their point of view, should not get any arms from this maritime route, and that's why they are attacking any boat going to Israel. But in what's concerning that, I think Egypt's position was clear and reiterated once again by His Excellency Badr Abdelati when he mentioned that we have to restore peace in the area so that everything would go back to normal, including, of course, the maritime routes and the Suez Canal safety. And Mr. Lavrov did not object to that, because actually he is also concerned with the safety of the Red Sea and all the boats that passes by there. So I think that we are in a very delicate situation, and the most important thing in this issue is that we have all to understand that the Western countries are still unconditionally supporting Israel and maintaining its position diplomatically and militarily. That's what's enabling Israel to continue its genocide. Although what we hear are words of sympathy with the Palestinian people, but actually it never got to the point where there are concrete measures against Israel in order to deter it from continuing the genocide that's taking place right now. As long as there is a flow of arms, whether from the United States or from other NATO countries, as long as there is diplomatic support for Israel and its action and trying to qualifying this as a self-defense, then Israel will never stop the war, and not just the war on Gaza, but it will try to escalate to the West Bank and to other countries. There are a lot of rumors now and a lot of reports talking that the next step is Lebanon, and God knows which extent is going to be the war there. We hope that they will listen to the voice of reason, and they will understand that it's in their own interest to stop the war now and get the rest of their hostages. After, I think, there were 3 more killed yesterday by Israeli attack, and the Prime Minister himself convened the families of the victims and informed them, I think yesterday, about the 3 deaths. So Israel continuing attacks on Palestine is hurting their own interests and their own hostages, but the narrow-minded of the extreme right government actually is leading to the continuation of this war to remain in power, as I mentioned earlier.
Indeed, sir. Sir, also, for his part, the Foreign Minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, said that Egypt's joining of the BRICS is boosting the partnership relations. How do you see the significance of our joining for the BRICS is actually reflected on the joint relations between both Egypt and Russia?
Well, first of all, we have to give the credit to this to the President, our President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who vowed himself from the beginning that he is going to diversify the resources and our trade and economic partners. And this is one of the steps when he urged the people in charge to take the necessary steps to join BRICS, which was actually a fact since last year. And I think that from this moment on, we have a new partner, a very strong one, which is, of course, consisting of many countries, but most importantly, of course, Russia, China, Brazil, and South Africa, which are the major player of BRICS. But this will enable Egypt also to not to depend on Western economy, especially that there is a lot of times there is a divergence in our political point of view. And at the same time, this will enable us to fortify our relations with countries like Russia, for instance, like today, and also China, of course, which is one of the most important, if not the most important player in the economy right now in the world. And we've seen recently the importance of Africa in the Chinese vision towards the economy. We've seen recently the summit, the Chinese African summit that were held recently in Beijing, and how this was an important step towards more and more cooperation between China and Africa, including, of course, the top country, which is Egypt, in this area. So I think Mr. Lavrov trying once again to reiterate on that shows the importance that the BRICS is giving to a weight of a country like Egypt in joining their own economic bloc, and I think this is going to be of an importance to both of us.
Indeed, Ambassador Medhat Miligy, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much, sir, for your precious input. Always a pleasure. Our dear viewers, that was our special coverage for the joint press conference for Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati and the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on the sidelines of Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati's visit to Moscow.
Egypt opens up to the world. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi meets with world leaders.
وأعبر لكم عن خالص الشكر والتقدير على حفاوة الاستقبال وكرم الضيافة.